Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Beware the Board, a horror podcast. We watch a randomly selected horror movie every single week. I'm Bob.
And I'm Ben.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, Bob. So this is an awkward way to start the podcast, but for you guys listening in the future, this probably isn't a big deal, but for people who listened as these come out, it's been like a month
Yeah, it's been a while.
since we last recorded, which I would like to note is the first time we've missed
Any episode ever.
any episode ever. We've recorded through rain and shine and through
Snow.
snow and fucking convention prep,
Everything else.
but we had some issues in the month of January.
Bob.
Bob had some issues. If you want to explain those.
Essentially what happened was my car broke, which actually really wouldn't affect the podcast normally.
I just had to pick you up, which
Yeah,
is annoying, but
It's annoying, but we can work around that. My car broke, then immediately my computer broke.
and if you don't know, Bob edits the podcast,
Yeah.
so
It was like, well, I can't edit the episodes, and I can't get anywhere, so I guess we're just going to go on hiatus for a couple weeks.
and the thing you haven't mentioned is right when all that happened, we had
Oh, yeah, a historic snowstorm.
I think there was like 8 inches, and then a couple days later we got what, 3?
Yeah. So there was like a solid foot of ice on everything for like
So
2 weeks.
You couldn't even get packages or go anywhere to pick up parts for a week or two.
Yep. So we've just been kind of chilling, waiting on this. Now, I will say, in that time away, I did do something.
What'd you do?
Something you've been asking me to do for months. As of recording this, they're up.
They're up
Yeah, they're up there.
on YouTube too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all there.
I'm gonna go check.
I
No, I believe you. I just want to see it. I haven't seen them in months.
Ben, you know what's crazy? I did it this morning before you picked me up.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
If you're wondering, I've been on Bob for a long time to post these memes I made for
Killer Condom,
Killer Klowns,
which was last season,
yeah,
which at this point is much further in the past because we skipped like 4 weeks or whatever.
not just last season, the beginning
of last season. Technically, that's from last year.
Yeah, they're pretty funny though.
They are pretty funny.
I do like the stamp of approval that we
the
can
stamp
now
of
use.
approval. So that's where I was going to bring it up. Is now we have access to the stamp of approval for the podcast. So I think what I'm going to start doing is, if you haven't seen, there's a meme from the movie Killer Condom, which is very good. You should watch it. It's very fun. That Ben made where one of the characters is like turning and giving like a thumbs up in basically BDSM gear.
It was a gay bar.
It was a gay bar. And it's really good. But now, Ben, we need a stamp of disapproval. Like, the movie's bad. We got to give it like we need 3 stages, you know?
Yeah, I
we need
can
the half
find one.
thumb, the bottom, like a thumbs down and a thumbs up.
Thumbs up would be what? Do we do that on star rating, or do we just have it if we both like the movie?
I think if we both like the movie, so we don't spoil our ratings.
Okay.
Because I think that would be fun. Not to give you more work or anything.
No, I just have to find a funny clip where they're doing thumbs. Yeah.
We have the thumbs up.
No, we have that one.
It's awesome. I love that.
It'll take a while to find the others.
The other one is a Matrix meme. There's 2. One is the thumbs up, and then one is a meme about hankies. And what'll happen when you choose the yellow hanky.
It doesn't end well for you.
It does not end well for
but
anyone.
it's better than the red hanky.
It is better than the red one. Anyway, you got anything you want to talk about before we get to the podcast part of the podcast?
Well, like I said, we've missed a month, so a lot of news stuff has happened.
So true.
And to be honest, I read a bunch, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch.
I sent you a bunch, too.
I know one of the things, and I feel bad because I feel like there was another thing along the same line here, but I know David Lynch died.
Oh, I did see that David Lynch died, and that fucking sucks.
And I wanted to say someone else died, but I don't remember at this moment. But yeah, that sucks. Okay, let's be honest. You've never seen a David Lynch film.
No, but it's one of those directors that I know the name of, even though I'm not into like film like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
He's definitely famous, and if you like his stuff, he does great because he always has this very distinct style and tone, but his stuff's batshit.
I would describe it as something akin to Wes Anderson in a lot of ways, like where it's all about the style, and if you like it, you're gonna love it, and if you don't like it, you're gonna hate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Wes Anderson's more lighthearted.
Sure. Yeah. But I'm
David
just
Lynch,
saying,
David Lynch made a Eraserhead. Don't know if you
I've
know
not seen
anything about
Eraserhead.
that. It's fucked up. You would not. It would fuck you up.
Really?
Oh yeah, not because
Ooh.
it's scary, but like the imagery in that is disturbing.
That sounds fun. New category idea: David Lynch.
So there's that, and then the other thing, because I don't think we've recorded since it happened, but both me and Bob went and saw Nosferatu in theaters.
Oh, so true.
And I saw it day of.
Yeah.
That was for
Christmas, right?
I think we might have talked about this,
I
actually.
think you talked about it, but we haven't talked about.
But then Bob went
me.
and saw it. So what you think?
I thought it was very good. I liked it a lot. I'm starting to realize that Mr. Eggers, we still haven't figured out how to say
I think
this
it's
man's name.
Eggers.
Eggers, he doesn't miss, dog. Bro doesn't miss. I enjoyed it so much more than I thought I was going to. Solely just like off the acting on God. Like the acting alone is so good, and the cinematography is really good. I love the beginning of that movie. Like just I would say the first like 40 minutes is like peak. Like I like the end and stuff too, but like just all the setup is so good.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I'm excited for when we eventually get to German Expressionism.
Yeah, me
'cause
too.
We can cover Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror, which is the original one from like, what, 1922?
I think
like
so.
that. Because I went and watched that movie again before I went to go see the new Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool how things line up like pretty insanely. If you want, I could probably send you the link to it if you want to link it on our page, but some guy went in and he did scene comparisons
Like
from
frame by frame.
the original one,
Oh, that's so cool.
the 1976 one,
Whoa,
and the most recent one.
that's really
And
cool.
it's so cool to see because some stuff is scene for scene. Because
Yeah.
the directors who like that movie like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But glad you liked it.
No, yeah, I think I really only have one complaint with the movie.
What?
And this isn't even a complaint. I'm literally I'm nitpicking. Like I'm being so like specific. I thought all of their performances were really, really good, but I do think that the dude that played what's her face's husband, Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think is who that is. He was okay. I didn't love his performance in the movie, but I don't think it was enough to like hurt the film a lot. I just thought of the people, he was the weakest.
You mean Nicholas Holt?
Nope, not Nicholas Holt. I like Nicholas Holt.
He's the husband.
No, the other guy.
the husband of the best friend.
Yes,
wife.
him.
Okay.
He was okay.
Yeah, he was fine, but I thought he also did a good performance.
So that's my thing is like, it's just comparatively, to everything else that I saw, I was like, oh, he's doing okay. But, because Willem Dafoe in that movie is incredible. He's my favorite character. Like, unironically. Like, I think he gives by far the best performance.
Really, I really like Nicholas Holt.
Nicholas Holt is really good, and I do enjoy him, but I thought
No, William Dafoe does an amazing job.
watching Willem Dafoe spout on about demons in setting, in like this historical costume with the way they did him up in his makeup, it felt so right.
And let's not forget Depp. Lily Rose Depp did.
Oh, Lily Rose Depp did
Insane.
so good. So good.
Yeah, it is one of those movies they'll say where I don't have any issues with it because I can tell the director loved the original film,
Mhm.
and I really liked this new interpretation of it, especially because he made a point to kind of fill in the blanks with parts of Dracula, which I
Yeah.
thought was really,
It's
really
so
smart.
cool.
But it definitely has some stylistic differences from
Sure.
the original film.
Mm-hmm.
And I accept that, but that's stuff I could nitpick about. Like, I love the original Nosferatu appearance, I think, more than the one in the new movie.
Really?
Yeah, but the one in the new movie feels like it fits the tone of that film better. Like,
Mhm.
it looks like someone who's actually from Romania from that time period.
He looks good too.
Versus the original one, I don't know if you knew this, Nosferatu in that movie looks like kind of a rat.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason, also the reason there's so many rats in that film, is because right before that movie came out, do you know what, like, fucked up Europe?
Well, 1922. Well, the Black Plague was like forever ago.
Yeah, Spanish flu.
Oh, Spanish flu. That makes sense.
Everyone was dying. That's why there's that whole, like, thing with rats and everyone
Mhm.
dying, and that's why Nosferatu looks like a rat. It's because it was, like, a major fear ingrained in everyone.
That's actually really cool. I didn't know that.
But I really like that appearance, too.
No, I do. I love the mustache. The mustache is what sells me on that character.
He looks like he's Eastern European.
He does, and on God, you can't tell it's Bill Skarsgård.
He looks like me as a shriveled old man.
No, like I was talking to my friend Jesse, who really loves Robert Eggers a lot. Like one of his favorite movies is The Northman, which is one of his films. And
My
he
favorite's
was,
The Witch. I don't know if
yeah,
you know that.
yeah. He also loves The Witch. But he was talking to me. I was like, I knew Bill Skarsgård was in the movie, but I finished and said, where was Bill Skarsgård in the entire film? Like he's like, I didn't see him.
Oh, yeah.
Then he immediately realized that he's like, oh, he was Count Harlock. That makes more sense.
The only way I could recognize him was through the eyes.
Really?
I think Bill Skarsgård has very identifiable eyes.
Mm-hmm.
In part because I've seen how crazy they get when he plays Pennywise.
Oh,
So
wild.
I've like focused on him enough. But yeah, he does not look like himself. It's great.
No, it's really good.
Enough about that. You have actual news to cover.
I mean, it's some minor news.
I know, but
Something that,
you know.
I mean, I'm not that excited about it or anything. Like, it's not like I've been waiting years for this to happen or something, or like that there's been anticipation, or we've been talking about it for months,
Note that sarcasm from
or
Bob.
anything. But Cineverse is releasing the unrated version of the Toxic Avenger remake for, what was it, August 25th, 2025 or something? August 29th.
I sent it a bit to you.
I found it. August 29th, 2025.
Sucks that it's in August, because that film's been out for 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, not out. It's been done for 2
Been done
years.
for, and they've been doing film festivals. But I'm so fucking excited about this.
Yeah. I think my only concern with that movie, and it's not even a big concern, is I'm so excited that Peter Dinklage is playing the Toxic Avenger.
Why?
I said I'm excited.
I thought you said sad. I'm sorry.
No, I'm super excited because I like Peter Dinklage.
I do
and
too.
I think the transformation from, who is it? It's the guy who plays Frodo
Elijah Wood?
to Peter Dinklage. I think that transformation is going to be really funny.
No, me too.
But at the same time, I'm kind of disappointed that it's not going to be the hulking massive muscle that is the OG Toxie.
Yeah, but I'm really okay with that.
But I'm okay with it because it's going to be fun.
It's gonna be cool.
Although I think the very funny thing to do would be to like do camera tricks to make Peter Dinklage look gigantic.
That is pretty funny. No, I'm really, really excited about it. Currently, it's sitting at a 92% score on Rotten Tomatoes, directed by Macon Blair. I'm really excited. Like, I've not been this excited for like a remake or a re-release of anything in such a long time. Like, we both love the Toxic Avenger, but seeing it remade in a modern fashion with a big budget is something that I never thought I would get to see. And with all these big name actors tied to it, I just can't help but be excited.
We still need to cover that. You want to do Trauma next season? That's
Well,
how we do
remember
it.
when we had some ideas?
Yeah. I will say, just to put this out here, we got to go see it day of release, right?
Yeah, we have to. This is like a non-negotiable. We're going to watch it.
I don't know if you know this. The Trauma website sells merch,
Yeah.
right? They have Save the Monster t-shirts from the original movie that we can go pick up.
That's so cool.
You don't know, they're the Toxic Avenger t-shirts used in the original film.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God. No, I'm really excited. I hope it's good. Everyone's been saying it's good. We should rewatch it before it comes out.
Yeah. I still need to, I hope I can find it online, but my understanding is the second and third film used to be one really big movie.
Yeah, and there's like a mega cut, right?
I don't know if it exists, but I'd like to find a mega cut because the way they're currently made, it doesn't make a lot of sense from what I've heard. I haven't seen them in forever, but like I've just heard it's a little bit funky because they cut them in half, and it doesn't feel narratively.
That sucks, man.
I mean, you've seen them, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time though. Like, I think I watched all of them back to back to back.
But I've heard people say that like if you splice these together correctly, it would be great.
Okay. So this is something I sent you, and I don't know how much you actually want to talk about it. But there is the like Mickey Mouse-esque Steamboat Willie horror movie called Screamboat coming out soon.
Yeah, we finally got pictures released of David Howard Thornton.
So that's what I'm going to say is David Howard Thornton is playing the killer in this, and they finally have released images from it and the way he looks. I really like his design. I think he looks really cool.
I'm on the other side of this,
Which I think is so interesting, because normally we have the same opinion.
so I don't hate it. It's very unique, but he looks more to me like a really humanoid Sasquatch or a fucked up werewolf.
I could see that, but he's very distinctly a mouse, dog.
But he is very distinctly a mess. I think the way I described it to Bob is if Gizmo fucked a human, that's
Okay.
exactly what it would look like.
Sure, like a full size gremlin, but it's a human.
Well, the Mogwai.
Yeah. That's what
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah, full size mogwai, but it's more humanoid.
And
That's fair.
I don't think it's bad, and I think if they have the right tone for that movie, it'll be fine. I think I just prefer like a more cartoon accurate, yes, like horrifying version of Mickey Mouse. You know what I mean?
Isn't that what I'm looking at?
So that's more like realistic.
Yeah.
I like the ones where it looks distinctly like kind of a cartoon,
More like Steamboat Willie, like black and white,
but
sort
it's
of.
weird and horrifying.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of a good example. What was that that thing that came out a while ago? It was the cat with the really long legs.
Oh, Inky or whatever the fuck?
No.
Is it like, it's like Ink something, right? I'm almost positive I'm right. It's like Inky in the something.
No, that's Bendy and the Ink Machine.
That's what I was thinking of. You're right. Isn't that what I'm talking about though?
No, it was
Talking about Cuphead? Because that's now that's what I'm thinking of.
oh, it was Cartoon Cat.
Oh, it's just called Cartoon Cat?
Yeah, have you never seen Cartoon Cat?
No, I don't think
It
so.
made the rounds, like, I think at this point maybe 2 years ago. But that's kind of like the aesthetic I like.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you a picture. Come here. Look here.
Oh my god. That's fucking scary. Like,
And, like-
unironically terrifying.
I like that better because I think it looks more.
Okay, so if
Disturbing?
I think if we were going for more scary, I think that would work. But I think this movie is leaning into the full, like, goofy power of giant mouse man kills people.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a more goofy movie because it has David Howard Thornton.
So that's what I was gonna say is I think if you're doing a design like what you just showed me, I don't think he's the person to cast for a role like this. Because I think the power of David Howard Thornton is how ridiculous and insane he can look. And I don't know if that necessarily works with like scary fully. I think it works much better in a sort of fun, lighthearted, goofy way, which is why I think they went with the design they did.
And I totally agree with you. I think it's also so they don't get sued.
So true.
But I don't know. It's one of those things where if it was going to be a horror movie, I think I'd prefer a more, I don't know, weirdly cartoony horror design.
I don't know, man. I really like this guy.
But
I'm just looking at him.
That one's so stupid. It's going to be great enough.
I know. That's why I'm excited, because I know it's going to be dumb. Okay. I don't... Oh, okay. So this is the last thing. I was looking for this. I knew I was going to be able to find it. We watched a movie a long time ago on the podcast with a special guest, actually. I'm pretty sure she was on that episode. And it's the only movie to ever make me throw up on the podcast. We watched Takashi Miike's Audition forever ago.
Audition.
It's good. Very good movie. Made me puke. There is a remake coming out. Focus Features, Hyde Park Entertainment, and Mario Kassar Productions are nearing a deal to produce a new adaptation of the 1997 novel Audition, which served as the basis for Takashi Miike's movie back in 1999. Christian Taftrup, who directed the original Danish version of Speak No Evil, is set to direct.
Oh, so it's going to be an American film?
Mm-hmm. Looks like it.
I actually don't hate that because, like, I mean, you know.
Are we going to get ringed? That is my worry.
That's my concern. But what I will say is, like, for me, the original Audition is, like, the definitive Japanese Audition.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to get something different.
Well, I just am excited because I've heard Speak No Evil is really good.
Fair
and
enough.
It's the original director. So that will be very, very cool.
And it'll be cool to get another adaptation. Not only because it's someone different, but look, I love Takashi Miike.
Me
but
too.
A lot of his stuff was made for TV, and so it doesn't look great all the time.
Yeah.
Like, Audition's amazing, but there's a lot of grain in that film.
Yeah. I mean, that's everything that's out right now. I was trying to look through the article to see if there's any other news out, but there's nothing else.
Okay, then I have one more thing to mention because I totally forgot. If you like Nosferatu, they're releasing the extended cut right now. You can get it, I think, pre-order if you're doing the Blu-ray, but I want to say Disney or something has, like, you can buy the movie and get all that as well.
That's wild.
I don't know how that works.
I don't either, honestly.
Point being, I think the extended cut's an extra 4 minutes, so it's an hour and 36 instead of an hour 34.
4 minutes is a weird amount to have to cut. I'm really curious what they had to cut, honestly.
It's good stuff, probably.
You would hope so. Maybe more dong.
You would think that's good stuff.
You're telling me you don't want to see Count Orlok dong?
I saw enough.
You get to see a little, but it's not as much as I was expecting.
It looked like a shriveled prune with a worm.
Well,
coming
yeah,
out
bro,
of
he's
it.
dead.
Doesn't stop him from getting it on. Anyways, that's it.
Yeah, podcast, part of the podcast.
Yeah, sure. We have to go over this again because it's been so long. We have a couple options left. We have 2 spots in Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is my category. We have 1 spot left in vampires, which was our random.
Nice.
And then we have 2 spots left in clowns. So, assumedly, Bob's going to do Arnie or clowns today.
You would think. And you're right. I am. I'm going to say vampires. I don't know what the last vampire spot is, but we watched 2 very good movies so far in that category.
Very different movies.
But they were both very good.
Yes.
So I kind of want to save that last spot for later, hoping it's a good movie.
I think you should do clowns.
God, you said that earlier.
Because you're just going to keep putting it off.
You're right. Well, look, if I look to my right, I'm a horrific scene is fucking shown to me.
Oh, I finally got around to decorating my room. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
But my roommates for my birthday gave me a Killer Klowns from Outer Space poster, and Bob does not like clowns.
Yeah, it's hanging right above your bed. I don't know how the fuck you sleep at night, dog.
Well, I slept with Pluto from The Hills Have Eyes for a while, just looking at me.
Yeah, that's
So
also
it doesn't-
scary.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. I'm going to choose clowns, I guess. Fuck it. I mean, might as well get a little scare in. It's been a couple weeks, you know. I haven't been scared in a while.
I don't necessarily know if any of the clown movies are going to scare you, but I underestimate
Hell House
your
scared me.
fear of clowns.
What do I have? What are my spots been? I don't know.
Looks like 1 and 2.
1 and 2. 1.
1?
Fuck it, we ball. What's in spot number 1, Ben?
Well, it's interesting we talked about posters.
Oh my god.
Because today we're watching Killer Klowns from Outer Space from 1988.
It's from 88? I thought that was like
Yeah.
a more recent film.
No.
I thought it was from the 90s at least.
I mean, close.
It's close, but
88.
it's not. 88's close. Great. I've heard this movie's very good.
Hey,
Or no, sorry. I've heard this movie's very fun.
it is definitely a cult film. It's stupid, but it's a lot of fun.
Isn't this the movie where he's like, there's the clip of the dude online where he goes, they're eating him, and they're gonna eat me too.
No, that's Trolls 2.
Trolls. That's what it was. I knew it was this or Trolls. I couldn't
No,
remember.
it's Trolls 2. It's the
Oh, I'm
sequel
sorry.
to Trolls. Description. They've come from beyond the stars to make you laugh yourself to death.
Okay. Fantastic. I'm so excited.
I thought that was fun. I've been watching a lot of 50s monsters movies.
Have you?
Recently? Yeah. I bought a Ray Harryhausen collection.
Oh, that's cool.
It's been fun.
Sorry to go on a side note right now. You said me and my girlfriend watched Frozen, not the Disney movie, like the horror movie.
The one by the same guy who does Hatchet?
Yes. Very good. I like that movie.
Glad you liked it.
I really enjoyed that movie.
I will say there's a lot of stupidity.
Yes, it's so stupid, but it's very fun. Like, you would think 3 people stuck on a ski lift would be boring. They make it work.
David Green? Is that director's name?
Nope. That's the one I hate, actually. I hate that guy.
What's his name?
Adam Green?
Again, bad with names, but
Yeah.
I like him. He does fun stuff.
No, me too. I like him a lot. Excited for Hatchet 5.
If it comes out.
They said they're working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you dare. It's coming
Well,
out.
I know, but remember how long it was between Victor Crowley and...
Yeah, I know, but I'm still... It'll come out.
I hope so. In either case, length of this film, 1 hour and 28 minutes long.
A little short.
It's rated PG-13.
There's no way, really?
Yeah.
That's actually crazy.
I mean, it's a goofy horror comedy.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the guy on the poster, and if I saw that at 13, I'd cry.
Well, yeah, because you're afraid of clowns, Bob.
But I feel like most
I find clowns enjoyable, like you're supposed to.
not true.
Which I think is a whole interesting spiel about how Stephen King made clowns, I think,
Scary.
scary. Him and what was that serial killer name?
Oh, the one that used to dress up as a clown?
Yeah,
Oh my god, what is his name? He's like super famous. Like
Yeah.
super famous.
I'm looking it up. John Wayne Gacy.
That's what it was.
The two of them together, I think, make kind of scary. Because before that, they were like, everyone loved them for the most part.
Horrifying.
And I think they really cemented them as a horror kind of thing, which is interesting. In either case, review scores. IMDb gave it a 6.2 out of 10.
That's pretty good.
Tomato meter score of 81%. An audience score of 61%. A meta score of 43%. And a user score of 7.6 out of 10.
This is so much better than I expected.
Yeah, it's one of those films where it's like, it's not amazing, but if you like it, you're gonna like it. I think the best thing I would compare it to, because similar people worked on it, is Critters,
Okay.
where like if you like it,
I did like
You're
Critters.
gonna
I
like
thought
it.
that was a very fun movie.
but it's more stylized than that, obviously. For awards, it has 0 wins, but 2 nominations,
Yeah,
which is
good
good
for
to see.
them.
Notable actors in it are Grant Kramer as Mike Tobacco.
Well, okay. Sorry. The name sent me Mike Tobacco.
Mike Tobacco.
I'm glad we're
Look,
setting up with good names
You
right
understand
now.
how this movie is.
Yeah, Mike Tobacco. It's similar to when you did Killer Condoms and you read Luigi Macaroni and I fucking lost my mind.
Hey, he's a good character.
Sure.
He ended homophobia, Bob.
He did end homophobia. You're right. He's done one good for the world.
But he played Jerry Robert Willis in Willy's Wonderland.
Oh, I haven't seen that. That's the Nicolas Cage one, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
I've heard people. Yeah,
I
most
liked it.
people say that.
I liked it better than the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
That's wild.
I didn't like that movie
I know.
because I know nothing about Five Nights at Freddy's, so it's none of the lore hit for me, so it just,
Yeah, they're making a second one.
I know they are, and I didn't like the original. I'm actually really happy for the fans. That's great to see. Especially
Yeah.
because it was a shitty little indie game when it first came out, and it's It's wild to see what it's become.
Mm-hmm.
Next guy is Suzanne Snyder. She played as Debbie Stone. She played Brenda in Return of the Living Dead 2. So, you know our favorite pair from Return of the Living Dead?
Oh my god.
She's the girlfriend.
The girlfriend
in the second movie.
Yeah. I didn't hate her in that.
By the way, did you see they're making so there's a new Return of the Living Dead movie, which is the Christmas themed one.
Yeah, which I sent you. We talked about.
But then there's a crowdfunded like fan one.
I haven't seen
I believe.
that. That's cool.
And the only issue with that I've heard come up, I think they're different projects. Maybe I'm wrong, but they're bringing I think a couple characters back with CGI.
Whoa.
For
That's
instance,
wild.
What's the old guy's name? We love him. The guy who thinks he's
The guy who plays Frank?
yeah.
He's really famous. Hold on.
But I think they're bringing him back, and then the Nazis who they're also bringing back because he's also dead, which is really cool. But the only issue is I believe that project's crowdfunded, and I don't know how good that will look because they don't have as much money to do CGI as a film like Alien Romulus, which still had questionable CGI people.
I didn't think CGI when that was awful.
I didn't think it was awful either, but let's be honest, it doesn't look.
I mean, sure, but it's CGI.
I know, it's just one of those things. Thought I should bring it up because, we're talking about it.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to find... It's James Karen. That's his name. Very good. Very, very good. He's like one of the best parts of Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
Yeah, I mean, Frank and then the guy who plays...
Tommy Jarvis.
Tommy Jarvis in... what is that?
It's Tommy...
5 or 6? It's 6.
6. It's like... What is his name?
His
Tommy
name.
something? Or is his name Tommy?
Thomas...
It's...
something, right?
Why do we not know this?
Okay, I don't know it because I'm horrible at names.
So true.
And also, I think we're just kind of out of practice.
True. It's been a month. Cut us some slack.
Tom Matthews. Really cool guy. We've
Very cool.
met him. Anyways, going back to actors for this movie. John Allen Nelson as Officer Dave Hansen. He was Walt Cummings from 24, which I know a lot of people like.
Never even heard of it.
You haven't? If I remember right, the whole concept from that film is like it's set over 24 hours and one episode's like an hour long.
Oh.
And it's during like intense situations.
That's really
that's
cool.
How it works.
That's a cool concept.
But you've never heard about it because it's from the early noughties.
Makes sense.
Which, if you don't know, that's the 2000s to the 2010.
Yeah.
But he was on 11 episodes between 2005 and 2006. Next guy is John Vernon as Officer Curtis Mooney. And have you heard of John Vernon before?
Not off the top of my head.
I'll show you a picture of him. He is actually pretty fucking famous. He's a Canadian actor, so
okay,
like a really famous Canadian actor. Not that there's an insane amount.
I know that. I've seen that guy's face.
But he's been in a couple things. I'm not sure how many of them you would know, but he does do a great job in this movie. Probably one of his most famous roles for Americans, though, is he's Dean Vernon Warmer in National Lampoon's Animal House.
I've never seen any of the National Lampoon movies. Not a single one.
Animal House is the famous one. I believe he's the character that goes, Animal House!
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of those. Like, people love, like, the Christmas one.
I could never get into it.
I can't either.
And also,
I tried this
It's
year.
one of those movies, and I look at it, and I'm like, as a modern person, I'm like, oh, it has Chevy Chase in it.
Yeah.
And it's not Community, where he's
being shit on.
Where his character is supposed to be based on how he was in real life.
What an asshole. Allegedly.
Yeah, whatever. Although I do like the movie that ruined his career.
What movie is that?
So it's the movie... what's the crazy guy who owns the Skull Vodka?
Oh, it's the crazy Dan Aykroyd movie. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been on a rant about that before.
And it ruined both Dan Aykroyd's career and Chevy Chase's. Nothing but trouble. It's wild.
I heard it's really bad.
It is really bad, but I like it. You will
Fair
like
enough.
it too, because it's just so
insane.
bad shit. Next actor, we have Michael S. Siegel? I don't know. As Rich Terenzi.
These character names are insane.
He's Grady in Monsternado.
Monsternado?
Yeah, it's kind of like Sharknado, but instead of sharks,
it's monsters.
it's monsters.
That sounds awesome.
Then we have Peter Licassi as Paul Terenzi. He was Guido DeFranco from Santa Barbara. He was on 4 episodes in 1989. Apparently, that's an actual name.
Guido DeFranco.
Guido.
Guido.
Yeah. I believe it's also a racial slur.
I also think that, which is why I didn't want to say it.
Which I know from It's Always Sunny. But,
oh, that is true. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
because they saved Frank from drowning with his rum ham.
Yeah.
But, well, Frank and Mac, but apparently it's an actual name.
I've never heard anyone be named that.
It, apparently, I think used to be pretty popular. I was looking it up because I saw that and I was like, what? But they're the Terenzi brothers. They are an important part of this film. Then we have Royal Dano as Farmer Gene Green. I believe he's also pretty famous as a Western actor. I don't know if you know him. Because, like, you watched a bunch of Westerns, if I remember right.
Yeah, my grandpa really liked him. I used to sit and
That's
watch
Royal
him.
Dano when he was younger.
Oh, okay. I think I recognize that guy.
But one of the films he was in was 10 Spot in the outlawed Josie Wales. And then our last guy I'm going to mention here, we have Christopher Titus as Bob McReed. And he was obviously Christopher Titus from Titus. He was on 54 episodes between 2000 and 2002. Also a decently famous guy.
I feel like the name is familiar for sure. Like, I've definitely heard the name before, but I don't know what from.
This is him when he was a little younger. I think
I do
recognize
recognize that guy.
I don't know what he's done besides the Titus show, but
Yeah,
I
I've
also
definitely seen
recognized him when I was going through the list of people. Director is Stephen Chiodo. He also directed Calla Lily, which was a short from 2007. And the writers are Stephen Chiodo. He wrote Creature of the Amazing Live. He's the creator of the Amazing Live Sea Monkeys. It's like a TV show from, I think, 92. He did 11 episodes. And then the other one is Charles Chiodo, who wrote a short called Night of the Little Dead. And it's not mentioned here, but I think the third brother, who I didn't write down his name, also worked on this. He's just uncredited. And together, the Chiodo brothers. You're familiar with them, right?
We talked about it on Critters, right? Because they did the effects.
Yeah, they're special effects guy. I think this is the only movie they've directed.
Really? They've only done this one?
Yeah, like I said, they did that TV show,
Mhm.
but I think they were just the creators of it. But yeah, I think this is their only movie, and it's cool to see because they're special effects guys,
Mhm.
and it's wild and wacky. There's a reason it's a cult film. It's super cool to see people like that get movies.
I mean, I think that's why when personally I'm looking at like directors and stuff.
Well, that's why you like Adam Green.
I was going to say that's why I like Adam Green. That's why I like Damien Leone, because having the technical knowledge of practical effects and design when directing and having that in mind makes all of that stuff hit so much harder because you have the ability to make it work. And I think that's why I enjoy these types of directors, is because they know how to push everything to its furthest extent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Budget's estimated at around $2 million.
That's a lot of money.
And I really couldn't get a decent box office on this because
Okay.
it's older.
Mhm.
I saw somewhere mention $1,412,
That's nuts.
but that's nuts, and I don't know if that's right.
No way they spent $2 million that made $1,400.
That does happen though.
No, but it's still wild.
I will say this film is a cult movie, so I'm sure
Mhm.
it's made back its money by
Oh,
now.
hopefully.
but I don't think it made a lot.
I
upon
think
release.
the fact that me and you were sitting in a room talking about it with a poster of it already on the wall means something.
Well, we've talked about much worse films.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, but it's definitely a cult film. I mean, it used to be on Netflix for a while. I don't know if it's still there.
I actually didn't know that.
But, more importantly, it got a game just
Yeah,
recently.
I heard the game was really fun. People liked it.
Country of origins, obviously United States, and the tagline, "It's crazy."
I just was crazy spelled with a K.
No, it's a C, but there's 3 A's.
It's so fucking stupid, but I love it.
Okay, so going back to facts. First facts. I already talked about this, but this is the only film written and directed by the Chiodo brothers. But I think it's important to note that they were in charge of the practical effects and makeup for this film as well. However, I do want to make it clear that there were a number of other artists working on the film alongside them for those positions.
Oh, okay.
I think they were just like
The people in charge of
the
it.
people in charge.
That makes sense.
The effects and everything, I think, were taken care of by others, though. Don't want to make it seem like they were doing
All of it.
everything. The film's original title was simply Killer Klowns, spelled with K's, of course. But the From Outer Space was later added to keep the audiences from assuming it was just a random slasher film.
Oh, that's actually
Because
cool.
Killer Klowns sounds like a slasher film.
It does absolutely sound like a slasher film.
Killer Klowns from Outer Space sounds like a cheesy 50s
Sci-fi movie. Yeah.
So I think that was a good decision.
More reminiscent of something like Critters or The Blob.
Yeah, and also, I think 90% of the people watch this film because it says Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
I think the outer space part is the most interesting part of it.
I don't think people would watch it as much if it was just
Killer Klowns. Because
Killer
that seems
Klowns.
boring.
The film was Christopher Titus's first role in a motion picture, so
That's
I guess
really
that's
cool.
Killer Klowns from Outer Space was filmed in Watsonville, California, and specifically, there's scenes shot at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. So, pretty cool place. I think we just saw the boardwalk in Lost Boys, right? That was the Santa Cruz one, right? Or
I
was
think
Santa Monica?
I think it was Santa Monica, yeah.
They all look the same. To me, I'm not from California, so
Yeah.
we don't have boardwalks here.
No, we
We are
barely
a
have
landlocked state.
We barely have water.
No, we have the Ohio, but that's more of a sludge.
Yeah, that's more. You don't swim in that.
You can.
Oh, you shouldn't swim in
You
that.
shouldn't. People do swimming in it for, what is it, the decathlons that happen here?
Yeah, but you gotta clean the river up before you do that.
No, you have to wear wetsuits and stuff, and if there's an
Yeah.
algae bloom, you still end up with, like, skin rashes and stuff.
Gross.
The film's score was composed by John Massari. The title song, Killer Klowns, once again, spelled with K's,
Hell yeah.
was written and performed by the American punk rock band The Dickies, and was released on their album Killer Klowns from Outer Space in 1988.
I'm sorry. That's insanely funny.
It's so funny it sent you into a coughing fit.
The band is called The Dickies.
Yeah.
That was a bit much.
I mean, it's not the greatest name ever. I prefer Mouse Rat, but, you know,
There are many, many better band names.
like
I'm
Mom
just saying.
Jeans.
That's a good band.
I know, you like it. That's why I brought it up for
love
you.
that band so much.
Last kind of movie to mention before the movie, because I do have some post-movie discussion points. But sequels for this film have been brought up.
Hell yeah.
And from my understanding, they've been, like, actually in, I don't want to say production, but in
Talks.
In talks. But they've been in development hell since
that
the
sucks.
original film's release. Stephen Chiodo stated in 2016 that he hopes to produce 3 additional films
Holy shit.
in this, I guess, franchise, or possibly a television series. As of 2018, NBC's Universal Sci-Fi, the Sci-Fi Channel, announced that it was in talks to license the rights to make 1 or more sequels of this film. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but it's cool to see that the original, like, creators are interested,
Yeah, I think it's more...
especially because there's a lot of hype for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I don't know if you remember, I think we talked about it on the podcast, but, like, they did in concert, like, in symphony, the soundtrack to this movie.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool. No, I think it's very, very refreshing to see that the creatives that made the original project are still working on it and tied to it and being considered when asked about it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think they own it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm glad that they still have their hands on it, because if not, I could totally see how, like, some studio could buy up the rights to this and just make a bunch of shitty sequels, like bad sequels. Like, I'm glad that someone is trying to keep it,
Yeah.
together.
That's all I have for before the movie stuff.
Okay. I'm a little scared, I'll admit.
Oh my god, it's almost like you don't like clowns.
I don't like clowns, but look at that guy, bro. Look at his
I
mouth.
think that's tiny.
They have names?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
of course they do.
Okay.
Pennywise has a name. All clowns have names.
Not all clowns have names.
I think technically you have to have a name because clowns are registered and everything. With the International Clown College? Do you not know about that?
Okay, we gotta stop.
Like, it's
no,
an
we gotta
actual
stop.
profession.
I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it.
Did
We
you-
have to stop. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind
Did you
because you're
know-
making this up and you're fucking
Did
with
you
me.
know you have to register your appearance, like your clown's appearance, because you're not allowed to have the same one as someone else?
Really?
And the way that they preserve clown appearances is you get an egg and they draw the face that you chose for your clown appearance on the egg, and then they keep them.
That's wild.
Back in the, I want to say like 20s or whatever, when it started, they used real chicken eggs,
Yeah, which is wild.
which kind of sucks because we've lost a bunch of those. But nowadays they make them out of like they're ceramic eggs, so they are made to last.
Why do you know so much about clowns?
Because that's just such an insane fact. I think it's
It
really
is an
cool.
insane fact. That's why I don't understand why you know it.
I just know it. I know a bunch of random shit, Bob. Why are you questioning this?
It's been a couple weeks. Anyway, I guess we're gonna go watch the movie. So
Yeah.
we'll see you guys in a minute. Hi everybody, welcome back. We just finished watching Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Spelled with a K.
K's
Yeah.
instead of C's.
2 Ks.
Well, one of those K's is supposed to be there.
Well, yeah.
They should have switched it up. That would have been funny.
Siller Clowns?
Well, it's still C's can be pronounced like a K.
No, but if you put it at the front, CI is usually not like,
Yeah, but this is English. There's no real rules.
I guess. I don't know.
Anyways, what do you think, Bob? You like it?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought it was super fun.
Did it freak you out though? It was definitely very fun. I like this movie, but
Yeah, I'd say it freaked me out. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but it was definitely like, I'm gonna put this out here right now. I'm gonna say this at the start of this bit so that I can get it off my chest.
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
There is no reason this needs to be a PG-13 movie.
There's exactly a reason.
No, it's too horrific.
It is not horrific enough to
Nope.
be R-rated.
Ben, I watched a man get beheaded.
Yeah, but
And the guy melted.
it wasn't like super graphic.
And, not to spoil it, but there's a scene that involves a puppet that is fucked up. And I didn't like it. It freaked me out.
It freaked Bob out. It was definitely PG-13, but
No, it's not.
It was really riding that line between PG-13
The
and
opening
R.
song is a song about the Killer Klowns genociding Earth.
Yeah, whatever. This is an 80s movie.
God, I guess my thing is, this is pre-Gremlins, right? Or is this post-Gremlins?
I believe this is post-Gremlins.
Because Gremlins is what, like
PG-13
86?
exists, so it has to be post-Gremlins.
Oh, you're so fucking right. I'm stupid.
This was pre-Gremlins. It would have been
be
PG.
Yeah, which is insane. I guess more my thing is, Gremlins I see as the baseline for PG-13. This goes far beyond that, I think. And that's why I have problems with it being PG-13.
I don't know.
By modern standards.
Some points were less graphic than Gremlins.
Some of them. But some of them I was like, why am I seeing this? This is horrid.
I thought it was fine. In either case, we're going to do our usual thing here. I'm going to give a brief kind of like description of the film, and then we'll get into actual spoilers. So in case you want to watch the film blind, I highly recommend you do that before we spoil anything, because that's the best way to experience a movie. With that being said, what's this movie about? Well, there's killer clowns from outer space.
Yep.
That's really just it. It's these clowns come down in a spaceship and they start killing people. And everything's clown themed, so it's goofy.
I wouldn't even say
and fun.
clown themed. I would say circus themed.
Yeah,
Which is much cooler than it just being about clowns.
but if that sounds cool to you and you're into like fun, goofy horror movies,
Yeah.
so it's definitely worth a watch. With that being said, we're going to get into spoiler territory now. So, Bob, anything you want to talk about right away?
Okay. So I stopped myself from saying this during the movie because I think it is an insane hot take that I wanted to say for the podcast.
Well, you always have insane hot takes, so go ahead.
This is like, and I don't know how else to put this other than just saying it. This is peak cinema. Like this movie, unironically, I think that this is peak cinema because I do not think that you could do something so utterly absurd and ridiculous and kind of horrifying and make it as good as they did. And the fact that this insane concept turned out so well just proves to me how good this movie actually is.
Yeah.
And I think that, so like, I'm saying this as a general thing, but like, it's peak cinema in the sense that this is the best version of this thing that we could possibly get. Like, I don't see how this could be any better performed as a concept. Does that make sense?
I think
that's what I mean when I'm saying that.
That is completely fair. The term peak cinema is not necessarily used that way, but I do think you're right. This is like an amazing execution for a concept that just shouldn't work. And I think there's a couple factors that come together with that. The first thing, and I almost mentioned it in my like little description, but what I think is so cool about this concept is, yeah, it's about clowns and that's goofy, but at its heart, this is written like a very serious alien invasion film.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And like all that's happening is they took that very basic alien invasion film premise and then they just inserted clown themed stuff or circus themed stuff over top of it to make it goofy. And I really thought that just made everything work.
It does. It's very much in the same way that like The Blob takes the alien invasion concept and makes it as body horror and horrifying as possible. This does the opposite and takes the idea of an alien invasion and makes it as goofy and funny as possible. It's the two ends of the spectrum, I think, on this situation.
Yeah, it was just one of those interesting things, though, because, like, I hadn't really thought about it before, but when I was watching this one, I was like, what if I just view this as an alien invasion film? And it's really easy to forget it's a goofy movie.
It's so good.
Not the actual goofy movie, but... like, they're abducting people, they're killing people. It's all very serious, but it's behind this veneer of
clowns
goofiness. And, I just thought that combination made everything work really well for a horror comedy.
No, 100% agree.
Because, like, oh, yeah, it's goofy, but under the surface, it's horrifying.
Yeah, and I think that is what makes it good, is it is the perfect mix of, like, goofy clown shenanigans, but they're still doing horrific stuff to these people.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best example of that is one of the clowns, the really short one. I'm just going to call him Tiny. I don't know if that's their actual name. They get into a fight with a biker.
Yeah.
And the biker goes, "What are you going to do? Knock my block off?" And Tiny punches his head off.
With boxing gloves. And it's fucking hilarious.
And that's super funny. But his head actually flies off.
Yeah. Yes, it does. And it looks good, too. It's a good fake head.
And that's how a lot of the stuff is in this movie, where it's really dark.
I think
goofy.
I think one of my favorite things about this movie is how simple it is. Like, it's so simple. It's so just like, as an idea, everything is so simple, and all the jokes are also so simple. Because I think that's just how clowns function. Like, clowns don't have elaborate ruses or jokes. They have, like, a joke they say, and you know the punchline. But because you know the punchline, when it happens, it's just so fucking satisfying. Like, I knew as soon as bro said, "What, are you going to knock my block off?" He was going to punch his head off. I knew that was going to come, but it wasn't lessened by the fact that I knew it was coming. It was amplified because it was satisfying in, like, the best way possible. Because they take the element of, like, cartoonish clown humor.
Or cartoonish violence.
Violence and up it to 11, but don't make it any less horrific. Because, like, the way the crowd reacts when he punches his head off is the way they should react in a normal situation, but it works because the clown just looks so ridiculous.
Yeah, and there's a ton of other examples. For instance,
there's so much.
One of the ones that I always think is really fun because of how maniacal it is we see a clown trying to lure a child out.
Yeah.
And then it pans in behind their back is a cartoonishly large mallet.
Yeah.
And it looks like something straight out of, like, a Looney Tunes bit.
That kid was going to get, like, flattened, like Flat Stanley.
Oh, yeah, like
100%.
Flattened. And that didn't happen, which was kind of disappointing.
But I think that makes him more menacing,
Yeah.
which works.
Oh, no, it was pure evil, and that's so great. And then, the other thing that I think really makes this movie work are the effects.
Mm-hmm.
The effects in this film are insane.
They're incredible.
You can tell that this was made by effects guys
100%.
because they framed the whole movie around that. And there's so much impressive stuff. First of all, the clowns.
The clowns are immaculate.
The clown costumes are really, really cool, especially because they have a bajillion of them.
I would say there's like 50 to 60 clowns.
There's 5, like, actually featured clowns. And I don't know if you noticed, they have animatronic heads for those ones.
Yeah.
So their mouths and everything can move.
They emote really well. It's really cool.
And those look really good. But, like, the big thing that is kind of noticeable is just, like, the backgrounds for all the circus stuff. Obviously, we've talked about, like, the mallet, but there's also, like, a bike and a bunch of other stuff that's circus themed, especially the inside of the clown's ship.
The clown ship is one of the coolest sets we've seen on the show.
It's shaped like a big top. And inside of that's just, like, great set design. It looks like a fun house.
It looks like a funhouse meshed. It's a very good mix of, like, sci-fi funhouse in a lot of ways. Like, all of the buttons and knobs that would normally be, like, very chrome and, like, gray are colorful and, like, covered in weird buttons and stuff that
They're like
look
rubber buttons.
Yeah, it matches the aesthetic of clown spaceships so well, and that's such a weird thing to say.
And, like, all those effects are great, but what really shows is the fact that these people know how to shoot those effects. Probably the biggest one that I know stood out to you is at one point there's these little clown puppets.
Yep.
And assumably they're just being manipulated with a string, but you don't see any wires.
You can't see anything. It's literally flawless.
It's well shot. And also puppeted really well.
Same thing with the stuff at the end. It's so good. Phenomenal.
And there's a couple effects I do want to talk about because I know specifics for them. First of all, one of the clowns, bigger weapons, they have these laser guns that turn people into cotton candy balls, and we'll get into that. But the other one they have is a popcorn gun.
Yeah, the popcorn
which
shotgun.
Looks really great. I kind of love the design of it.
It's cool.
Looks like a mouth. I don't know if you saw that at the front. But the thing I want to note is that the popcorn gun used by the clowns in the film, which included a compressor that would allow the weapon to actually propel popcorn out of it. So it was a functional popcorn gun.
That's awesome.
That did, however, make it the most expensive prop made for production. It apparently cost $7,000 to create and took 6 weeks to build.
$7,000 for the popcorn gun?
Yeah. But
Holy
was it worth
shit.
it?
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
So that's a really cool effect I wanted to mention. Another one is they drive a car off a cliff.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And that one's a funny story because it looks pretty good, right? Like a
Yeah.
realistic car crash.
It looks like a real car crash, yeah.
It was not supposed to be that way.
Oh!
They wanted to drive the car off and have it, action movie fly off this bridge and then crash into the
explosion.
ground. They fucked up and it kind of just slowly rolled off the bridge. And they didn't have enough money to reshoot it, so it is in the movie and it's really funny.
It's still a cool car
But
crash, though.
they saved it. I think that was really interesting. But probably one of the biggest effects here, and this is a bit of a spoiler for the end of the movie, but I do want to mention it, is there's a really big clown.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, but I didn't want to know how much you wanted to spoil it.
He has a name.
He has a name?
His name is Clownzilla.
Clownzilla.
And, the thing I want to bring up about Clownzilla is, how do you think that was done, Bob?
Oh, I don't know. Well, so at first it looks like it's a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think it's a dude in a suit and they used minis?
Sort of, yeah. So, originally, the thought process behind Clownzilla was to have it be stop motion animated.
Yeah.
But obviously that's
expensive.
So they ended up using a guy in a suit.
Okay. So
Like
I was
actual Godzilla.
kind of right.
And the person in the suit was Charles Kyoto. So it's the third brother, which I think is really funny.
That's
But
really cool.
what they did is they had him on a miniature set,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just played the footage in slow motion to make it look like he's really big.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually sick as fuck, because I honestly didn't notice.
So great stuff. And, there's a ton of stuff like that in the movie that I think is really, really cool.
No, I was so pleasantly surprised by this film. Like, I knew it was going to be good. I knew I was probably going to like it. But it was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Like, I think I expected it just to be dumb fun. And it was that. I did have a fun time.
The whole thing's dumb fun.
The whole thing is, but it's like, it was dumb fun while also just being a good movie.
Yep.
Which is the cherry on top.
And I think a lot of that comes down to how well the jokes were written.
Oh, yeah.
Because, they were dumb jokes, but they were fun. For instance, the first person to find the big top clown ship is this old farmer dude with a dog named Pooh.
Named Pooh. Named after
Specifically
Winnie the Pooh.
Pooh Bear.
Yeah.
But he sounds and acts exactly like the people who discover the spaceship in a 50s sci-fi film.
He's like Jordy Verrill from
Meteor shit. Yeah,
Fucking-
basically. And that's a great attention to detail. Another one, which is something I found while doing research on this film, because it's such an old joke, I didn't get it. But in one scene, they throw pies on some guy, and it turns him into a melted mess. It
kills him.
It's kind of horrific.
Kind of horrific. It's very horrific.
Only kind of. That was actually a reference.
Oh, really?
So the Kyoto brothers wanted to cast a comedian for that role by the name of Soupy Sales.
Soupy Sales.
As the security guard at the local amusement park who gets melted. They didn't get him. It's a different actor, mostly because the producers did not want to allocate funds to flying him out. But the reason they wanted to hire him is apparently he did a very well-known television show at the time where they would throw pies at him.
Ah, I see.
And it's just a ton of stuff like that where it's
Yeah.
Little jokes that you can tell a lot of thought went into.
But the thing is, there's a lot of thought put into the jokes, but the jokes are simple because they're clown jokes. So you know where they're going.
Yeah.
It was much more of a cinema experience than I thought it was going to be. Cinematic,
some might say.
yeah, than I was expecting. I kind of expected B movie, but it doesn't give.
It is a B movie.
It is a B movie, but it doesn't feel like a B movie. It doesn't feel cheap. You know what I mean?
Well executed B movie.
It's just so well done.
It's a B movie more than the cheese aspect.
And less than the like actual production value.
Yeah, you can definitely tell why it's a cult classic nowadays.
100%.
But also why it probably didn't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
At the time. Other things to mention that I think are really good about this film: the music.
Oh, the music is really good.
The music is absolutely fantastic. It's not necessarily synthy, but it's very electronic sounding,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all like remixed circus theme stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's such a great way to do the soundtrack for a clown themed
horror movie like this. Yeah, I mean it works. It's just so like the scene where they see the big top for the first time and the music starts. It's so good.
But the thing I want to mention here is there's just so many different tracks, like a surprising amount.
No, it's a lot.
Like they have a theme song, yeah, but they were playing music almost constantly, and I think I only heard the theme song like 2 or 3 times.
I was gonna say, I think you hear it at the beginning, and then somewhere in the middle, and then near the end you hear it again.
And that's impressive because it means they put a lot of work into it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's all really good. I mean, we've mentioned it already in this recording, but they played this live at like a symphony.
Yeah.
Because it's so well
very
liked.
cool.
Next good thing, the performances. Objectively, I don't think they're all fantastic.
No.
But they match the tone of this film
That's what I was gonna say.
really well. Everyone's like just kind of goofy. First one I want to mention are the Kyoto brothers.
Yeah.
They're just 2 goobers. I think it's very interesting. I believe they were based on some friends of the Kyoto brothers.
Really?
Did I say Kyoto? The Terenzi brothers are based on friends of the Kyoto brothers.
Okay, I thought that's what you meant, but I didn't stop you.
Are basically exactly the same in real life. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I could see those people being real, so I think they did a very good job of that. The guy who plays Mike Tobacco,
Very funny.
he's very
extremely
funny,
funny.
but he plays like, I don't even know how to describe it. There's some smugness to everything he does,
Everything.
and it's so fucking
it's
funny.
so good.
My favorite line from him is, "No."
Because it's delivered in just the fucking funniest way possible. It's just so good. Like, he just, in a movie that is so goofy and insane, he just deadpan delivers some of the best one-liners in the whole movie. Like, the deadpan no is so good because he's standing in a fucking circus tent. Like, in a very outlandish situation.
And he looks so fucking smart.
It's so funny.
Debbie, I think, does a decent job.
Yeah.
She's in hysterics just like she is in Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought she did a good job in that movie, and it was really fun to see her again. I couldn't unsee the comparison, but it was really fun. There was Dave, who's like the main cop for this film,
Yeah.
and thought he was pretty decent.
He's fine.
A nice little balance to Mike. And I will say, Mike, Debbie, and Dave had a weird, like...
It's a weird situation.
It's a weird dynamic going on.
Yeah.
Because Debbie used to date Dave. It has moved on to Mike. But then towards the end of the film, it seems like she's
Going back to Dave. Because he, like, saved the day.
But then they're all 3 cuddling together at the very end.
I think we might have seen the form of a throuple. I think that's what the end of the film
I kind
implies.
of feel like it evolved into a throuple.
Well, it might be more if the Terenzi brothers get involved.
You know, those are Michael's side squeeze.
Okay.
Just want to mention that. But one of my absolute favorite characters in this entire film is Mooney.
Yeah.
He has one of the best deliverances of like asshole cops I have ever seen in a movie.
It's really, really good.
If you don't remember, that's the guy from Animal House, so
Mhm.
Dean Vernon Warmer. So that's John Vernon. And he does such a great job.
Incredible.
He has so many like smug, like one-liner kind of stuff. I just think it's great. He also has some of the best foreshadowing in the movie.
Oh, it's so good. It's so funny.
Let me put it this way. No one makes a puppet of Mooney.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think, and this is kind of where I want to go on a little bit of a tangent and a rant about something that I think this film does incredibly well, and a lot of other films struggle with, is, you know, in a lot of situations where you watch a film about, like a monster film or something, a creative will take the choice to keep the monster in a secluded area to keep it out of the sight of the public, or make it like more, I guess, dangerous for the inhabitants. of the film. I think the thing that this film does really good is it takes so much time to show you the absolute fucking chaos the killer clowns are causing to this town. Like in the same way something like Gremlins or Critters would.
But actually shown. Because my biggest problem with Gremlins is
that
we
you don't
see it.
But in this, you see a ton of it. And it's all really good.
Oh, yeah. There's a scene at the end that implies the entire town is dead.
Yes, everyone is dead. Except for these like 3 or 4 people who survive.
And again, I think that comes back to the fact that this is a very well executed invasion film.
Mm-hmm.
And like we see the logistics behind some of the invasion stuff.
And it makes so much sense.
Like they have a front group of clowns that are running the tagging and bagging process of turning them into cocoons.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another group that just sweeps through and vacuums them up so they can transport them to the ship.
Yeah.
And, it's cool to see.
It's one of the best versions of like alien invasion that we've seen. Like it is such a good like encapsulation of like what that process would probably actually be like. You know what I mean? I think it just shows how much care, love, and detail went into every aspect of this film because they could have easily not done any of that and just leaned into crazy clown stuff more and made it funnier. But I think that including all of that makes the clowns feel more methodical and dangerous, which I think makes them scarier, which isn't. It's really cool.
Like they're goofy, but it's in a sadistic way.
Absolutely, 100%.
For the most part, they're just actually methodical killers.
No, and the film also takes its time and like has a bunch of different storylines happening at the same time that it cuts between, which lets us like get a grasp of what's happening throughout the town, and then when it comes to a head, it all makes sense. And when it's very well
written,
written and plotted out that all of these individual stories don't feel like they're. It's cohesive, I guess, is my point. And that's what I really love.
I think the writing in this is great. And
it's so good.
Again, it's all the stuff you said where it all comes together. But there's so many like good indicators of that. I mean, the fact that so many lines in this film are quotable is amazing. I mean, my favorite is "Don't worry, Dave. We just want to kill you." It's so iconic.
It's so good.
And it's also super menacing.
It's so creepy.
And there's just a ton of little stuff like that, even from the goofy characters.
Yeah. No, I think it's just really good. I don't know what else to say. Like I'm kind of at the point where I've said everything I want to say. And so I'm stuck at, it's just very, very good.
Okay. Do you have anything else for the most part?
I think we've covered everything. The only thing I might want to mention is we've kind of talked about the writing. It's really good. I think my favorite written joke in the entire movie is when Mike is trying to get the Terenzi brothers to help him. He's like, I need to go to Debbie's house.
And they're like, is there girls there?
Does she have roommates? And he says, yeah, she has 2 blonde roommates with huge boobs.
And they love ice cream.
Well, they say, do they like ice cream? He's like, they love it. So they go. And he takes her to Debbie. But then later on in the movie, there's 2 fucking clowns that dress up as female clowns and use balloons to inflate their boobs. And it's so fucking funny.
And the Terenzi brothers
probably have sex with those alien clowns.
Maybe. They definitely
kissed them.
Got the, first base.
Yeah. Which, you know what? Good for them.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not sure if the Terenzi brothers realized this was an invasion film.
No, I don't think the Terenzi brothers realized there were aliens at all. In fact, they probably just thought it was a weird circus.
Weird joke played by Mike.
Very funny prank.
Like the hidden lake.
Yeah. But I mean, that joke is set up 30 minutes before that happens.
Oh, I mean, yeah. So is that Mooney one that we
exactly
talked about.
That it's just so good. That's it. I don't know.
Okay. Then the last thing I want to mention here is what the clowns are.
Oh,
because
okay.
I think it's a cool point to bring up. Look, from our perspective,
aliens.
We look at them and we go, "Oh, it's just a fucking clown."
Yeah,
but they're actually aliens, and I think the film does a really good job of making it seem real like that.
Yeah,
because you go into it and you're like, "Oh, they're gonna be like just people, kind of," but they're not.
They're full blown aliens.
First of all, they have all this future tech and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like their appearance and like how they operate is very alien.
Mm-hmm.
Things you notice really quickly, they only have like 4 fingers on their hands, so like 3 fingers and a thumb. Their teeth are really wild and like snaggletooth.
Mm-hmm.
They got a big red
giant
nose,
fucking head too,
big head, and all these like markings on them. But then there's some other weird implications, like the popcorn gun.
Yeah,
that might be how they reproduce.
I think it makes little clown alien babies
because some horrific clowns come out of it.
Yep.
And like the biggest thing we haven't even touched on, those cocoons are for food.
Yeah.
And the way they feed from them is drinking.
Yeah.
And to be honest, for me, that brought this whole imagery of they remind me of spiders.
Yeah.
Because they cocoon people in something that is implied to be cotton candy, but
Definitely.
kind of looks like spider silk.
Yeah.
And then they drink them.
With a giant, really cool bendy straw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very clown.
So I thought that was all really cool. But probably my favorite thing with the clowns is it's like one line, but they do this really cool implication where they're like, first of all, they bring up ancient aliens, which
Yeah, I thought that
do
was
have a
fucking
problem with.
hilarious.
But it's such a great explanation of why these outer space aliens look like clowns. It's like, maybe our clowns are based on these.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's such a cool concept.
It's really funny.
It implies the killer clowns from outer space have been on Earth before.
Yeah.
But I think it also makes a lot of sense because probably that event happened way back in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's a great attraction?
What?
Like kind of a spooky haunted house thing. So people were like, why don't we make like a creepy thing? We'll build a tent that looks exactly like this spaceship. We'll have it manned by clowns. And
Oh
then
my
that
God.
slowly expanded into an actual circus.
That's interesting.
And
That's
I
cool.
think that's such an interesting idea. It also would explain like there's this whole idea that phobias that humans commonly have are based on things that
used
would have
to-
kept
yeah.
you alive in the past. So like fear of clowns.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a fear of space aliens that periodically visit the planet Earth.
And drink people
Yeah.
and have little popcorn babies. Ugh. Gross.
I don't know. I just thought all that was
No, it's
interesting.
It adds world building that it doesn't need, you know?
Yeah,
Which is cool.
which makes everything feel real. With that being said, I don't really have anything else. So recommendations?
Yeah, sure. If you like practical effects, I think this movie has a lot. Okay, if you want practical effects, but not like gore and guts, more just cool creature stuff and like other things like VFX rather than like gore and guts and stuff. Because there's not really a ton. I think the most we really get is a dude gets his head knocked off and you see the like stump. Does I get really in terms of blood and guts?
Yeah, it's not really gory.
No, but it's very good effects otherwise. It's just cool movie effects in general, which is something I really love. If you are afraid of clowns and you want to watch a scary clown movie and don't want to be that scared, I was kind of scared a little bit, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought, and I appreciate that.
It's a horror comedy. It's very palatable.
Exactly. And my last recommendation will be if you want a comedy, this is a great horror comedy. It's so funny. I mean, I think most of the outtakes is just us laughing at shit. Like, it is a very fun movie, and if you're looking for something fun, I really recommend it for that.
Okay. I have a lot of the same stuff. Obviously, if you want a effects focused film, it kind of feels in that same vein of like Hatchet or Terrifier. Not necessarily in the level of gore, but on that effects focused production standpoint. So if you like all that stuff, it's great for that and practical effects, which, you know, we're big fans of here. Like Bob said, if you want a clown movie or a horror comedy, this is great. But I think the big thing you didn't mention is if you're a fan of anyone associated with this film.
Yeah.
There's a couple well-known actors in it nowadays, so that's kind of cool to see. But also, like, the Kyoto brothers. Like, if you're a fan of the Critters franchise and you've never seen this movie, what are you doing? That being said, rate it. I know what you're going to give it.
What do you mean, you know?
You're going to give it a 5.
Maybe.
That's okay. I'm also going to give it a 5.
No, I don't want to. Nah, I'll give it a 5. It deserves it. I mean, I literally said peak cinema earlier. I don't
You did.
tend
You
to throw that
kinda
around lightly.
spoiled that.
Well, I wanted to open with it because I just genuinely think it is such a good movie. Like, unironically, like, even if I was someone who, let's say I was not me, okay? Just, like, imagine I'm not me. Like, you don't know who I am. If I was just, like, a critic, you know, and I watched this movie, I would give it a high score. You know what I mean? Like, I think just objectively, it's very, very good.
I don't know if that's true.
Really?
Like, for critics, because, look, this movie isn't amazing as far as movie goes. Like, it's definitely a B movie, but I think you made the great point earlier of this does the concept of killer clowns from outer space as well as it can get.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going to give it a 5. Like, I think this is the peak example of what this film type is. We've covered movies like that before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's really cool. But like as an actual film, I don't know if I'd necessarily give it that same rating.
I would give it at least something close and or similar.
But at the same time, I'm a big fan of stuff like this.
That's what I was about to say.
I'm biased.
If a critic could give it a high rating,
Well, I'm just pointing out that critics didn't necessarily give it a high rating.
but if a critic could
and
give
I
this
can understand why.
an okay rating, let's put it that way. I have much lower standards than most critics, but also
I know.
I love movies like this, so I have to I don't foresee. Hopefully they do make sequels because I would love to see that. By the way, now that we talked about it and you were like, oh, they're thinking about making a sequel, they should make sequels. I want more of this
They've
content.
been thinking about since 1988.
Okay, but they're waiting on me to watch the movie and decide that I wanted to see a sequel, and now they're gonna make it. Hopefully, it's so good. That's it. I can't get over how much fun I had with this movie. It's just really good. Just fantastic.
Good to see.
I'm happy we started with this when it came back.
Yeah.
It's a good place to leave off.
You waited a month for
Killer Klowns from Outer Space. And you know what? I wasn't disappointed.
I mean, it wasn't a big surprise. I think you kind of knew we were going to cover it, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, we had to. If I pitched Clowns and you didn't put this on there, I would have been kind of mad. But it does make me curious what the last clown spot will be. Because that could be scary.
Got any thoughts?
Nah, I can't think of any other clown movies. Because I know you said we were not going to watch it.
Yeah, we're not going to watch that one.
Yeah, we're
Sorry
saving
for the spoilers, guys.
Yeah, we're probably saving that for something else.
For like Stephen King.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we'll go to the outtakes.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to have any. We marked some stuff.
I don't know. We marked quite a bit.
A lot of them are just us laughing, and usually
Sometimes
Bob
they're not usable.
doesn't include those.
But yeah, we'll see you guys in a minute. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the outtake section for this episode of Beware the Board. I hope you're enjoying our review of Killer Klowns from Outer Space so far. I love this movie. I do genuinely think it's peak cinema. I think it's fantastic. But without further ado, let's get into the outtakes. This first clip is our reaction to seeing what the clowns are doing to these people.
He's such a smug asshole. No.
No. No, there doesn't. You're standing in a fucking clown spaceship. There's not a logical explanation. Shut up. Also, whoa, that's cotton candy. He's right. What's that? That's a lot of cotton candy.
Did you not like that, Bob?
Are they eating these people?
You'll see.
What do you mean you'll see? That means there's more steps.
They're definitely cocooning them.
In cotton candy.
Oh, I don't know if it's literally cotton candy. It just
Then it's definitely cotton
It
candy.
looks like
they're in a
cotton
literal
candy.
clown spaceship.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's cotton candy. It just looks like it.
This next clip is our reaction to this movie, Doing the Thing. I think this is the only time where they say the name of the movie in the movie that I'm okay with it.
Killer
Klowns from Outer Space. This next clip is the exact reason you shouldn't mess with clowns. Oh, boxing gloves? Oh my god, he's getting like fucking. What is that scene from Jason Takes Manhattan with the boxing with that one guy? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Bro, this movie should not be PG-13.
It's not super gory.
This next clip is our reaction to the pie scene. That's so much pie. That's an insane amount of pie. Holy shit. Oh, it killed him. The pie killed him.
Yeah. Horrifically, too.
Oh, it melted him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit. Why is this movie
Because
PG-13?
it's not, like, that bad. Look,
Ben.
there's a cherry on top.
They just melted a man.
But you didn't, like, get to see it.
But you really did because it was implied by the...
It just looks like he's hamburger with whipped cream on top.
That's so gross.
And a cherry.
This next clip is our reaction to what the cotton candy cocoons are for.
Remember that question you asked before?
What?
About what they do with the cocoons?
Oh, interesting. I'm very interested. Well, because they look like they're hanging on, like, amusement park rides.
Yeah, or like those conveyor belts for clothes at a dry cleaner.
Oh, I guess that, too.
That's what it reminds me of. First, I gotta check if it's ripe.
Ripe?
That's what he's doing. It's like a watermelon.
No. Ugh.
It liquefies them. Isn't that fun?
This next clip is our reaction to the very end of this film. Oh, he killed the big one! What happens when he kills the big one?
The same thing that happens when you kill the small ones, but
Yeah, but like...
but bigger.
Oh my god. Oh, is it gonna explode and blow the whole thing up? Oh, fuck yeah!
It's fireworks.
All the cops are so fucking stunned. That looks really cool. Hi everybody, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the outtakes. Do we have any announcements, Ben? I think we might.
Well, we're doing a Valentine's Day episode coming up here on the 14th. So as of releasing this,
Hold on, let me look at the calendar.
that will be Friday. So it'll be next week's episode. We'll have a Valentine's Day and a regular episode.
That's actually not that bad because never mind. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, today's Groundhog Day. How nice. I didn't know that.
So that's something to look forward to. Theoretically, we're also working on Evil Dead stuff.
Well, we kind of hit a snag in the road on that one.
We were going to start it last month, but for some reason, we had some issues with recording. So
yeah.
we're not going to start doing those this week. But I guess next week
we can
we'll
start
probably
recording
start
them?
recording those.
Yeah.
Unless Bob needs to like catch up on board episode recordings. But I think we should be fine.
Need to, right?
Yeah. So hopefully that'll... Unless we have another holiday coming up, that'll only take like a month, roundabouts.
Yeah, well, St. Patrick's Day.
Because we have 3 movies. When's St. Patrick's Day? Do you know?
Next month at the 17th.
Yeah. We shouldn't need to do that for a while. So
yeah.
Hopefully that means Evil Dead stuff will come out in like a month or two.
Hopefully it'll be done. We could just get that out. Then we can do another one.
Then we can do another one, which I'm excited for.
I'm also excited.
That being said, I guess usual spiel. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, other podcast-specific platforms. If you're checking us out on any of those, it really helps us out if you give us a quick rating or review that helps us get seen by other people on those platforms. With that being said, if you really want to support the podcast, probably one of the best ways to do that is to recommend it to a friend. Kind of like you would recommend a show, like at a French circus kind of thing. You know how it is.
Not a French circus.
Otherwise, while we're on podcast-specific platforms, we're also on YouTube, which definitely isn't the best for audio-only content, but we like it because it's a good way for us to see support.
Mm-hmm.
Spotify analytics and stuff is kind of confusing.
Oh, very confusing.
But YouTube analytics is pretty
It's
simple.
straightforward.
We can see like how many people are subscribed to the podcast or how many people watched a video or liked it, and all that stuff's really cool and keeps us going because it's nice to see people are engaging with this.
No, yeah, we appreciate the support.
We do it for fun.
Yeah, we do it in our free time.
It's cool to be like, oh my
top of
god,
everything else.
people watch this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, YouTube does have a couple useful tools you might be interested in. First of all, there's a bell button, which I know some of our other services have that, but that lets you get notified whenever we post something new. In case we're posting something out of our usual schedule, like a holiday episode, or if we're late for whatever reason, like we don't post for a month, you don't get enough notification. That means there's no video. But probably the best tool for YouTube is the search function on our page. That lets you search key terms in all our videos. So in case you're looking for like a specific movie we've covered, that's probably the best way to figure it out because we have a lot at this point.
We're almost at 200, I think.
I don't know.
I think in actual episodes, we just crossed 100 not that long ago. But in actual videos, we're almost at 200.
Yeah, we almost have 100 extra episodes of content, so we got a lot, and might as well check out if we've covered something. Maybe there's something you want to watch. Although I will say our older stuff isn't great, so sorry if it's
a little rough.
Older.
I will say we've yet to surpass our longest video is 2 hours long, and it is a bad movie.
That's because we didn't know what we were doing.
But I listened to that episode recently, and it's incredibly funny.
I know, you find yourself very funny.
I find you funny. I don't find myself funny.
With that being said, biggest thing with YouTube is it's one of the 2 major places to communicate with us at. You can do that in the comment section of a specific video if there's something you want to talk to us about in that episode. Or you can go over to Twitter, @BewareTheBoard, and go talk to Bob, maybe give him some entertainment, eat some popcorn, talk clowning. See what you can learn from the biggest clown there is.
Oh my god, you fucker.
Little Clownzilla.
Like Ben said, check us out on Twitter at BewareTheBoard. It's where we post updates about the show, information about the show. Basically, if there's anything you know about the show, it goes on our Twitter. If we don't post for like a week, like you don't post or something, and you want to know what happened, check our Twitter. I put a thing out.
Did
on
you
Twitter.
put a thing? I meant to ask you, but I haven't seen you in a month.
Yeah, I put a tweet out that was like,
That's
hey,
good.
we're on hiatus. We'll be back as soon as possible. Here's some memes to tide you over. So, if you ever want to know what's going on with the show, our Twitter is the best place to find that, or our YouTube page. I do put posts on there occasionally.
I usually try to keep them up.
Yeah. I post a spoiler post for that week's worth of episodes on Monday. So if you want to, it's a hidden movie cover. You can reveal it and see what we're watching. So you watch the film before we do. So whenever you listen to episodes, you don't get any spoilers or being vague about stuff. You know what we're talking about. Then on Fridays or whatever other day an episode goes live, I always post a link to the episode on our Twitter. So if you ever missed upload or want to know someone up, there's always a link there. Last thing, we make short form content for the show over on TikTok at BewareTheBoard and on YouTube Shorts. So here's the thing about TikTok. I can't access it anymore because it got banned.
Yeah.
And then I uninstalled it because it got banned. And I can't reinstall it.
Yeah.
But I think I could use my TikTok web browser, like on my PC.
I'm pretty sure you can.
To still upload stuff. So hopefully there'll be new short form on TikTok. But if not, all of it will definitely go to YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
If there's nothing new on our TikTok.
I'm going to be honest. This is a conversation for off the podcast. But we're probably going to have to figure out other social media options because Twitter's going to the dogs.
Yeah, Twitter's kind of
TikTok
dying.
might disappear.
TikTok is, yeah.
But we'll let you know if things change.
Yeah, also, if you're ever curious, on our YouTube channel and our RSS, there is a link tree that has all of our socials on it. So if you ever need to find something, you can't find it, it's usually at BewareTheBoard on everything.
It is surprisingly not a link to our OnlyFans.
We have an OnlyFans?
We
Did you start one?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Look, bro.
No one's going to pay for that.
You don't know.
I wouldn't pay for it.
Sure. Anyway, we make short form content for the show. So if you like short form content, check us out at BewareTheBoard on TikTok and YouTube Shorts.
It's really infrequent because Bob's always busy.
Yes, true. And it takes forever to make short form content. I think that's it, Ben.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. See you guys next time.